episode 2 of the Trading Sliders podcast. Hi, my name is Bobby Puckett. I'm here with Kurt the Flash Bennett. What's going on, Flash?
What's going on, Bobby?
Not much. Long race weekend, but it was a dry race weekend, so we got some races in.
Yeah.
So that's always positive. You got some fishing in. Flash took a big fishing trip this weekend, so I flew solo. Well, me and my wife, we made the trip up to Shady Hill. We'll talk about that. A lot of things to cover this week. We're going to cover racetrack safety, especially after the big incident that happened at Ponderosa Speedway. Thank God everybody's okay in that deal.
Yeah, that was a scary-looking accident there.
Yeah, it was pretty rough looking. As a fan, it was rough to sit there and watch. But there's a lot of stuff to get into. Brownstown has a makeup date with the other hurricane coming in at East Bay.
Yeah.
So, it sucks that East Bay is just going to end with no big shebang. But it's nice that the Jackson 100 is going to happen. With the Jackson 100 happen, we're going to get into the controversial, not so controversial canceling of Fun Fest. I know there's some people upset about that.
There's a lot of people upset about that.
But Fun Fest is not canceled at all. We're going to get into that. We're going to have a Fun Fest 2.0.
Yeah.
By the opportunistic Mike Gibson and the Sportsdrome Speedway. So, guys, first off, we want to thank everybody that followed the show on Facebook. And I had 4 or 5, 6 people reach out to me that really, really enjoyed the show. And that means a lot to me. And I know it means a lot to you, Flash.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad people want to listen to it and listen to us talk a little bit.
Yes, that's what I told one guy. He said, I'm looking forward to this every week. I said, well, we are too, kind of.
Yeah.
Editing that and figuring out how to load it. And for everybody that wants it on YouTube, I had 5 or 6 requests because you guys have a YouTube Premium. It's going to happen. I just haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
I think I screwed up and did the file the wrong way. So Dromer, the guy at work, the Race 8, I don't even know his damn page now. I can't even. Racer 69 or something, whatever his YouTube page is, he's going to come over and help me figure out how to do the YouTube part. So
yeah, we can use all the help we can get.
Yeah, here I am trying to give the guy a plug, and I don't even have my shit together. So, but yeah, he's going to come over and help that. But honestly, guys, thank you. We really appreciate it. And another thing too, the best advertisement is word of mouth. So if you guys enjoy it, like I said last week, please tell somebody. Follow us on Facebook, the Trading Sliders Podcast. And if you don't enjoy it, tell somebody you did anyways and send them our way because they may. But yeah, we're going to talk off this weekend. Like I said, I made the trip to Shady Hill, but before I get into that, we're going to let Kurt's got some breaking news from the fishing world. A lot of you guys don't know, instead of driving race cars all the time, Kurt's an avid fisherman. The only thing I know about fishing is I eat the shit.
Yeah.
But Kurt, tell us about your weekend.
Yeah, I had a good weekend. We went. I got a cabin down in Low End, but I went and fished a tournament down in Rough River Lake yesterday. And out of 22 boats, I ended up winning. So that's actually the first tournament I've won, the bigger tournament anyway. So that was a lot of fun. But the real tournament was today when I took my grandson out this morning to fish with me. And he ended up beating me, of course. He caught the biggest and the most. So that should make him happy anyway.
Sounds like to me you need a new damn fishing partner. Yeah. You would have really won the tournament.
Well, I tried to get him to go yesterday morning, but he didn't want to get up that early. So, but then after I won, he wanted to go, of course. He wished he'd win. But
well, see, I understand that. That's the main reason why I don't fish. It's not because I don't like fishing. I don't like getting up early either.
Yeah.
So I totally get that. Shout out to you, Easton. Sleep in as long as you can because when you become an adult, it sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, Flash, he got the first checker flag of the weekend. Picked him up a victory there at the fishing tournament. So that was really neat. Like I said, the Jackson 100. We'll start off with that. Well, first off, because we jump around, that's what we do. We had 3 weekend sweeps this weekend throughout the country, and I want to give a shout out. Some of these we'll go over in race results, but Brian Shirley, he swept a weekend at Fairbury. I think there was like 40 or 42 cars each night, so that's not easy to do.
Especially not at Fairbury.
Yeah, especially not at Fairbury, especially not with the field they had. And it's almost like if you listened to our show last week, we kind of called a little bit of this because, we talked good things about Ryan Gustin. And Ryan Gustin went to Lucas Oil Speedway this weekend, and with the Outlaws being off, and he swept the weekend with the MLRA show. And the final one is one of the modified hot shoes here in the Bluegrass State. Blake Brown out of Corbin, Kentucky. He drives a street stock. It's the Bastard chassis. They call it that old Bastard. But he went down to the Fall Brawl at Clarksville, Tennessee, and swept the nights there. I think he won the $1,500 to win street stock race on Friday and Saturday. He was paid $3,000 or $4,000 to win. So Blake Brown, a big shout out to you. I think that was feature win number 17 or 18 for him for the year.
Yeah.
So we'll get into a lot of that during results, but I just want to give a big shout out to those 3 guys because winning one race on the weekend's hard enough. but sweeping with the fields that they had, I think there was 28 or 29 street stocks at Clarksville. And I think there was like 35 MLRA late models at Lucas Oil Speedway. So
Yeah, Clarksville's a little bull ring too. That's a neat little place.
yeah, Clarksville's one of those places that we could do a whole show on.
Oh yeah,
Just like what we talked about Talladega last week. Clarksville Speedway, and hopefully Clarksville Speedway will still be around because some of the summer national races there are really, really good. But they're building neighborhoods like as we speak. I think they're pouring another driveway leading up into the backside of Clarksville Speedway.
Yeah.
But if anybody knows Lamar Scroggins, he's not going to go down without a fight. A funny story on that. So we didn't even have this on the show notes, but we're going to go ahead and talk about it. They're building like $700,000 homes right up against Clarksville Speedway. And the city come in and told the owner of Clarksville, said, hey, you need to put a fence up so the neighbors don't got to look at your eyesore. And if anybody knows Lamar Scroggins, he put a fence up.
Yeah.
55 gallons of fuel drums all around the property. So we like Clarksville for their special events, but hopefully it's still going to be around. But I don't know how Clarksville Speedway is going to last with the neighbors moving in on them. So hopefully it is because we don't want to see any racetrack shut down.
But I mean, you go to Fairbury and, they're in the middle of the subdivision up there and everybody seems to love it. Up there, it's kind of different out in the country, I guess.
Yeah, well, Flash, we've been to Fairbury and we've been to Clarksville. I love racing, but sometimes Clarksville, they do what they call Midnight Madness and they start at midnight.
Yes, right.
So, but I love Clarksville Speedway. It's a bull ring. It's rough and tumble. It's red clay. It's hammered down. It's what short track racing in the South's supposed to be like.
Oh, yeah.
And, so hopefully it's still there. But, talking about the Jackson 100, East Bay got rained out, which we kind of knew that was going to happen. I really wouldn't call it rained out. They got hurricaned out, flooded out. Just about everything that could go wrong in the Tampa area has gone wrong. And it looks like it's going to go wrong again.
And another one coming in on, I think, Wednesday. So it's going to be bad for them people down there.
Thoughts and prayers to everybody that in the Tampa area on the whole coast there.
Also, all the guys in North Carolina and Tennessee, man, that's horrible up in that area too.
40 is totally washed out.
26 is
26 is a mess.
Yeah.
Well, we went across 40 one time when the rock slide happened.
Yeah.
And went across. I think it was the Blue Ridge Mountain or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell mountain it was, but it was a trip itself. So hopefully everybody, like I said, in East Tennessee and down in the Carolinas, everybody's okay. I know there were some lives lost, and we hate that, especially on a travesty like that. But Lucas Oil, they moved their race, which we called it last week. We kind of it's kind of like we knew what was going to happen because we maybe talked to a few people, but we couldn't really say it. So
right.
I'll just say I talked to a few people, and they were just waiting on a final announcement. But the Jackson 100 is moved to this weekend, Friday and Saturday. And I believe Friday I'm going to try to go up and catch the C.J. Rayburn Memorial and then the crate race. We haven't really talked because Flash has been busy. I've been busy. I was going to see if he wanted to go on a racing trip this weekend, but I don't think I'm going to go to the Jackson 100 Saturday.
Yeah,
I was really wanting to. But I think I'm gonna make a trip up to Kokomo for the Kokomo Clash. The Kokomo Clash, I think they've already got 60. The modified entries are cut off, and I think there was 45 Super Late models entered. So I haven't been to Kokomo in a long time, and it's on my list of top 5 racetracks in the country.
Oh yeah, Kokomo's one of the best racetracks in Indiana, I think.
Yeah. So I think that's what I'm going to do, but I was going to get with you kind of, doing shit on the fly, 'cause that's what we do. We will be out somewhere this weekend. I don't know where. Like I said, if the racetrack is great, like it was last week for the Flow race Friday night, I may go back to the Jackson 100. I don't know. We'll see. Race season's winding down. I've been to Brownstown a lot this year, and I'm probably gonna get out and see a few places I haven't been to.
I believe Lawrenceburg's running Saturday also, ain't they?
Yeah. Lawrenceburg's got a big USAC. The Fall Nationals, $20,000 win. USAC sprint car race.
Yeah.
Gonna get in that to the upcoming events too. Yeah. But with the Jackson 100 having a new date, FunFest was canceled. A lot of people are upset about this, and we can say we get it. We understand because a lot of people look forward to FunFest. And,
they plan all year for
that weekend, and for Brownstown, for Brownstown's sake, it's one of the few times. I mean, you get to see sprint cars early in the year, but it's one of the few times you can see sprint cars, super late models, crate late models, modified. Every division runs. So
pretty much, if it has wheels, they race it there on FunFest.
Yeah. So. I get people being upset, but also, the The Jackson 100 is a crown jewel. It's not what it was 15, 20 years ago, but it's still a crown jewel, and it pays $50,000 to win Saturday night. And guys, in the racing world, if the Lucas Oil Series or the World of Outlaws Series or the High Limit Series, and even USAC to an extent, but if they speak up and say, hey, we want this date, and you have a race at your track, you're going to do everything to accommodate them.
Yeah.
And if you don't, like I said, that's on you because you won't get it back.
They bring in the money too, so I mean, sometimes they can make or break a local track.
Yeah, that's what I was talking to my dad because my dad goes up to Fun Fest, and my dad was over the other night. Shout out to Pops. I came over and fixed my bead roller that was screwed up. A lot of you guys know me. I do race car bodies, and I tore up race cars. I'm into a lot of stuff, but my dad came over and fixed my bead roller for me. And I think the main reason why he came over because he just wanted to complain to me about the Fun Fest being canceled.
Yeah.
So, because he goes up there and camps out all weekend, and he says, "Man, they're going to lose out on so much money." And I said, "Dad, I'm going to put it to you this way: Brownstown holds 4,500 people.
Yeah.
Fun Fest, they charge $25 a person to get in pits and everything. Handstands are half full, but they do have 100 race cars.
Right.
I said they're still going to have 80 race cars there Friday and Saturday." And those guys are paying $50 and $60 to get in the pits, and the fans are going to be full, $35 and $40. So it's a big money maker, and like I said, it's a crown jewel. And when the Lucas Oil calls, you do what Lucas Oil wants. But Fun Fest 2.0 is going to happen because the opportunistic Mike Gibson at the Sportsdrome Speedway seen an opportunity and he ran with it. And all I'm going to say about this is, I'm glad it's happening. I'm glad that, Mike Gibson and Sportsdrome stepped up. It's not going to be Fun Fest, so to speak. I think but they do have the Knicks Grand Finale, Outlaw Figure 8 race, 75 laps.
Yeah, I think it's 78 for both.
78 laps.
I think it's 78 for 3 divisions, ain't it?
Yeah, 78 for that, for the Outlaws, 78 for the Modifieds, and 78 for the Ford Figure 8.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Fun Fest 2.0. With your fix of Figure 8 racing, and I think they're running Crown Vics on the oval, and I believe they're running Hornets on the oval and Figure 8. But first time I think this has ever happened, Mike Gibson's going to allow camping at the racetrack all weekend.
Yeah, I believe that's the first time I've ever seen that. And if y'all know me, I've been around the Drome for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. I think I camped there a couple times back in the day, but that's because they didn't get done till 4 in the morning.
Well, we used to camp there every night because we didn't get paid till 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
So, over.
But it's the first time that you can actually bring your campers in and camp at the Sportsdrome.
Yeah.
Fun Fest, is still going to happen to an extent. So shout out to Mike Gibson and everybody at the Sportsdrome. I'm going to put it to you like this, guys. We grew up at the Sportsdrome. Kurt kicked my ass and everybody else's ass at the Sportsdrome on the oval. And if somebody tells you he didn't, they missed 15 years at the Sportsdrome. They were at Louisville Speedway on Saturday nights watching the late models because it happened. Mike Gibson catches a lot of flack because I hear people all the time, well, they run those damn Fords. Well, guess what, guys? Those Fords were street stocks when we were racing. There was always a late model.
The original Dromer division.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what they started out as. I mean, actually, they were pure stocks when I first started. Yeah. And then they turned into Dromers.
Yeah, because you had pure stocks. And actually, I think they were because they ran late model stocks. And did they call them hobby stocks there, too, at the Drome for a while? But yeah,
I remember when I first started running, they were called pure stocks. There was only like 6 cars when we first brought ours out. That's all there was when they first started that division.
Yeah, then they become the street stocks, and it progresses. And say what you want, positive or negative, about Mike Gibson and the Gibson family. Is it 78 years now?
Yeah, 78.
78 years.
Somebody's doing something right.
So yeah, you can badmouth him all you want. 'Cause I know a lot of people do, and hell, I have at times. But me and Mike are cool. And
I grew up hanging out with Mike there for a while. I used to go in early because I couldn't get in the pits with my dad, but I'd go hang out, and Mike would let me come in with him and put the flags up on top of the stands all the way around the bleachers every time. So. I pretty much grew up at the Sportsdrome.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Shout out to Mike Gibson for stepping up, and racing is a business, and he's seen a business opportunity, and that's what you're supposed to do. So, Fun Fest 2.0, Fun Fest is going to happen. So that's some late breaking news here. And just another thing on the news agenda. USAC sprint car racing, midget racing is beloved. Kurt and I. We love non-wing sprint car racing. I went up to Shady Hill this weekend and covered a non-wing sprint car race. But USAC, our favorite type of sprint car racing. Kurt was on record last week saying he likes 360s, but 410s he's not the biggest fan of. And but we all love USAC racing, and USAC's taking a hit. They've lost 2 cars next year full time. A lot of people don't know this, but Brady Bacon is going full-time racing with the Wing next year.
Yeah.
You know, the Hoffman family car is technically Brady Bacon's car. I mean, it's a collaboration. So I
Right.
had some people saying, well, who's going to be in the Hoffman car? I don't know if anybody will be in the Hoffman car, but Brady Bacon did say he's going to run 20 non-wing races next year. He's got scheduled 50 to 60 wing races.
I think
So-
didn't he say he was going to run some Silver Crown too?
Yeah, he's still gonna do the Silver Crown stuff, and he's still gonna run the midget at the Chili Bowl and maybe Indiana Midget Week and stuff. But he's gonna run all the major non-wing races. He'll still run the Four Crown and all that stuff.
Right.
So Brady Bacon's not gone forever, but he's been a great ambassador for sprint car racing. And
Yeah.
you know, when Brady Bacon speaks, you listen. He promotes races for USAC.
Oh yeah.
So
Brady Bacon's a heck of an announcer too. We've listened to him announce
Yeah.
at Chili Bowl.
yeah, the Chili Bowl.
When
Yeah.
we was there that year.
Yeah, there's not anything Brady Bacon can't do. And in the middle of winter, he'll also, you know, take the backhoe out and run the Brady Bacon 500. And they took a lot of front-wheel drive cars from the scrapyard and raced in his backyard when they was building his house.
Yeah.
And he's talking about, I can't never pronounce her name. I think it's Xenia or Xenia. His wife, she was going to kill him.
Yeah.
Just like wives do with all of us. You know, my wife was ready to kill me this weekend too. So, and also, you know, Brady Bacon leaving sucks, but this one really sucks. Jason Persley is leaving USAC at the end of the year. A lot of you guys may or may not know Jason Persley. You know, he suffered a pretty bad wreck a couple years ago and broke his back and recovered from that. And Jason Persley is going to take over the 13 car that Justin Peck was in, going full time next year on the High Limit Series.
Yeah.
And you know, I want to talk to you about this, Kurt, because you know we love non-wing racing, but is non-wing racing maybe traveling a little bit too far, and maybe the pay isn't quite what it needs to be? Because Jason Persley, Tyler Courtney, Brady Bacon, Chris Wyndham, you know, all these guys are going, you know, wing racing, and you know, I'm not begrudging them against that, but it just sucks when as soon as a kid, you know, gets where you think he's going to be in his prime, you know, he moves on.
Yeah.
So you know, I don't really know what the answer is.
Yeah.
I know non-wing sprint car racing is still strong in Indiana.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, it's still strong out on the West Coast in California. You know, Missouri's starting to, you know, pick up steam with the war sprint car stuff. So, you know, hopefully, you know, everybody says this all the time. You know, this is the downfall of USAC. This is the downfall of USAC.
Yeah.
Guys, USAC's not going anywhere.
No.
They are not going anywhere.
You're gonna have new kids come up all the time. Just
Yeah, that was that's what I was going to say. There's so many young kids. Like this weekend at the American Sprint Car Tour that I called the races, we had a 15-year-old, a 17-year-old, a 16-year-old, and these aren't just, you know, kids out there racing. You know, the 17-year-old Landon Butler. You know, Butler name is anonymous in the sprint car world. His dad was Shane Butler. So anybody that grew up watching Thursday Night Thunder, you know, Shane Butler is out of the Tampa area. They now live in Galveston, Indiana, up by Kokomo. You know, they relocated, but his son is going to go full-time 410 non-wing racing next year. And he was kind of, you know, pleading to me. He goes, you have any pool with Kokomo? Can we get them to run every week?
Yeah.
I said, hell no. Do I got pool with Kokomo? I mean, your dad ran USAC for years. He needs to talk to Kokomo. So,
Yeah.
And also, Aiden Salisbury is another young and up and cover. And you know, so USAC's going to be okay. There's kids.
Oh, yeah.
There's kids all around. Gavin Miller. He had a few big races in the midgets this weekend.
Yeah.
So, but one thing I did want to say last week when we were recording this, you know, we were kind of distracted by the BC-39. And if you guys did not see the BC-39,
Yeah.
go back and watch the highlights because Jade Avedicia put on a
Oh, yeah.
clinic.
Yeah.
This young
she
girl
wheeled that
was
thing.
wheeling the race car. So
Yeah.
so go back and check that out. She ended up running second.
You could tell her interview how bad she wanted to win it too. So
Yeah, she had tears in her eyes, and
Yeah.
it was tears of joy, but she really, really wanted to win that thing.
yeah, she almost did too. It's just
Yeah, the cautions came out at the wrong time.
yeah,
on
just
her,
at
so-
the wrong time for her.
So you guys go back and watch that. And one thing that we're gonna talk about too also is racetrack safety. Ponderosa Speedway reopened this weekend, and we talked about it last week, and we were excited because we never want to see any racetracks closed down.
Yeah.
But they had a violent crash in the late Model A main, the first or second lap, and car went end over end, cleared the catch fence, hit the top of the catch fence,
Yeah.
and crashed into the bleachers.
Actually landed upside down in the bleachers.
Yeah, which is real scary. There was a few people hurt, nothing life-threatening. Thank God for that.
I think I read there was only 4 people in the bleachers just a minute ago. So that
Yeah.
was. I mean, that could have been a whole lot worse.
Well, that's how bad it could have been.
Yeah.
There was 4 people in the bleachers and 3 people got hurt.
Yeah.
So I mean, if the bleachers were full there, which those bleachers usually aren't ever full there,
Right.
Because they're in a bad location
Yeah.
anyways. But the promoter said, I seen it. You make national news. He said we made the news for the wrong reasons, but they are, they did cancel the races for that night. One thing that they did do, because the heat races were ran, I knew some people down there, and the heat races were already ran, so the feature lineups were set, and so there's no refunds because the show's over halfway, completed. But shout out to the promoter at Ponderosa Speedway. He paid the guys from the way they were from their heat finishes. So if you started second in the feature, you got paid for second.
Yeah.
So the drivers got paid. So
Right.
he didn't have to do that. He could have just said, "You guys are gonna get armbands and come back and race next week."
Right.
But shout out to him, and prayers and thoughts are with the families. I heard there was helicopters flying around, and every fire and rescue first responders was there from the Danville area. So the Lincoln County EMTs and fire department did a really good job getting to the scene, and thankfully no one was seriously injured or
Right.
killed. And he said he's going to make improvements to the racetrack. And what really sucks for him, that was his first race ever as a track promoter.
Yeah.
It sucks that the people got hurt, but it really sucks for him because he's got 1,000 things going on. He don't really know exactly what, how the night's going to go. Yeah. So he said he's going to make some improvements to the catch fence and take those bleachers down. And this is what I like. He said Ponderosa Speedway will be open next week.
Yeah.
No, he's going to do that this week, and they're going to race. So,
Right.
Big kudos to them. Hopefully everything comes out better. But racetrack safety is a big topic. Earlier this year at the high limit race at one of our favorite tracks, West Memphis, Arkansas, the ditch.
Yeah.
Had a car, completely crashed through the fence and crashed into staging lane and tore up some cars. Earlier this year, we had a bad accident at Jacksonville Speedway where the throttle's stuck, and car went in the infield and ran through a bunch of people, and someone ended up losing their lives over that. So racetrack safety is it's there's always something that can be done, but there's always people that always say you need to do this, you need to do that. A lot of times you don't think about it until it happens.
Yeah, that's true. I go to a lot of racetracks and I see kids down by the fence, and I really hate to see that because I want to see kids there, but I don't want to see them get hurt. And a lot of times they're not paying attention. And if you're anywhere near the fence, we've seen enough stuff happen that you need to always be on the lookout for.
Well, yeah, like last night at Shady Hill, we had a big sprint car wreck in a heat race, and there's kids playing by the front stretch the same way,
Yeah.
and we hollered down there, on the mic, "Hey guys, back up away from the fence, back up away from the fence."
Yeah.
They're kids being kids, throwing
yeah,
football. I
did
get
the
it.
same thing.
Yeah, we did the same. Like I was climbing the fence while they were racing, so I understand. But like I said, racetrack safety is a real big issue, and there's a lot of times Flash and I, we'll go to the racetrack and we'll sit down because we like sitting down and to get good action shots. And after the first hot lap session, we'll say, "We're not sitting here."
Yeah, we might need to rethink
rethink our
where we're sitting at.
location.
Yeah.
So hopefully more tracks will start doing better. Like last night, like I said, I was at Shady Hill, and I'm going to talk about that next. But in the drivers meeting, we had 3 sprint car racers ask where is your safety crew on the track with fire extinguishers, because there's been a big issue with fires, in sprint cars, and being fuel injected, they can't really stop it. And, it's a nightmare. So, everybody's doing their part. Could more be done? Yes. It's about like anything. More could be done to protect us from walking outside. But everybody's doing their part. Drivers are being more alert. Track officials are being more alert.
Yeah.
Fans need to be more alert, in certain situations. So hopefully this was a scare and everybody learned something from it and we move on.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get into what I did this weekend. Like I said, Kurt went fishing. He took the weekend off, and I made I think it was 270 mile up to Shady Hill Speedway.
Last time I've been there, me and you went for a Summer Nationals race was the last time I'd been.
Yeah, it was. I look back, it was 10 years ago.
Was it really?
It was.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, time flies. So I told my wife, I said, "Man, I was up here about 4 or 5 years ago." And then I was thinking, well, hell, 4 years ago was COVID. And then I look back on it, and it was. I was talking to the owner. And the owners at Shady Hill, Billy and Tammy, they are super people. They've got the racetrack. I guess they got it about 8 years ago. And I was talking to him, and he was like, "Yeah, I got the racetrack." And we had our first Summer Nationals race, and I was like, No, I came to a summer nationals race here, and he said, "Well, I've had the track for 8 years, and we didn't have a summer national race until COVID."
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Well, I got looking back, and it was 2014 when we went to the summer national race."
Wow.
So
I think it was on a Friday night too. We had
no, it was on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
We worked.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah, we
I knew
got home
left
when the
as soon
sun
as-
was coming up.
Yeah.
It was on a Thursday night, and Jason Fager won it.
Yeah.
So I looked it up, and I was like, damn, I didn't think it was 10 years. Like, son of a bitch,
Yeah.
time flies. But so I got to Shady Hill. Flash, you'll be happy to know it looks the exact same way as it did 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But the new promoters are, they're taking pride in their facility. It was clean. Grass was manicured, cut. Bathrooms were clean. It was it was pleasant because Shady Hill was a little rough when we went. I'm not gonna lie, it was it was a little rough. It was not the better facility in Indiana, but it was really clean, really nice. The people there are running it were super. They, it's the whole family's working. The father-in-law does the announcing. Got to hang out with him all night, and he gave me a new job when I was there. Flash.
Oh yeah.
When I get there, he asked me if I wanted to do the invocation, and I was like, it's like I don't. Anybody that knows me knows that I drop more f-bombs than I do, than I do prayers. Not that I'm not a religious person or anything. I believe in God, but I'm not the guy going to church every week. And he goes, really funny guy. He's probably 70. He goes, well, I'll tell you what. They know me. They don't know you. So what church you want to be from? And I was like, First Baptist Bar and Grill. Shout out to the late great Tim Wilson.
Tim Wilson, yeah.
And he's like, well, I can't do that. He said, so we'll just wing it. So wing it we did. We went on the front stretch. And so I was like, sure, I'll do invocation. So he hands me the wireless mic, and I was like, well, I got the mic right here. He goes, oh, no, we're going to walk down on the front stretch. And Shady Hill was packed. Yeah. I mean, this place, it wasn't sold out, but if it holds 5,000, they had 3,500. I mean,
that's good to see, though.
It was packed all on the hillside. Yeah. So I go out on the front stretch and, I don't rehearse anything. And then on the way down there, he asked me if I'm going to sing the national anthem. I was like, I may not be announcing at Shady Hill tonight. My wife's going to kill me. But he was just joking. He had somebody else to do the national anthem. And so he introduced me as Brother Bob. Brother Bob from Kentucky. He's gonna give our invocation. So everybody that knows me, know that's not my new nickname. I'm still B or Beezy. I am not Brother Bob. But it was a good time. Like I said, the people up there were great. So that was all the positives. Before I get into the racing, there was a negative because I call it how I see it. They run a show. The lady that does the scoring, I think her name is Sierra. She's old school. She's got race monitor in front of her. Car's got transponders, and she's handwriting every car that comes by.
Oh yeah.
And she does the receiver. She's doing the receiver. She's got a headset on, and she's the one doing the receiver for oncoming traffic and everything. I was shocked. I was like, son of a bitch, she's busy. But the only negative, though, they had like 3 pretty big downtimes. 2 of them, they did track prep.
Right.
So, that's the only negative I will say. But in their defense, I talked to, the owner about it and Sierra, and, last time we was there, they didn't have the Turn 1 saloon.
Right.
Well, they got a Turn 1 saloon now.
Oh, yeah.
Now they got banjo music and everything, full bar up there. And people were coming, and they Bill told me, he goes, I'll be honest with you, one of the biggest complaints I had when I took over was they got done too early.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
People spend money. They don't want to be in and out, and especially, that's kind of out in the country.
That's
so.
really out in the sticks.
Yeah.
So that's what he said. He said, kids bring their families, and they want to come here and hang out, and this is what they do.
I don't have a problem with downtime if they're working on the racetrack anyway.
Well,
me.
That's what I said. Yeah, but so funny story was they got to run the heat races, and it was time for the B mains, and I looked over in the modified because they had the Mystery 100. So they had like 32, 34 something modifieds. Modifieds are lined up for the B main, and we're about ready to do our sprint car A main right after that. And I turn around and look, and the announcer, he's gone. He goes down to the concession stand to get something to eat. The owner goes out and works on the backstretch lights that's not working. And the lady up in the booth goes, she's got the receiver, and she goes, I'm ready. I don't know what we're waiting on. We don't really have an announcer. I said, if you're ready, I'm ready. So I picked up the mic and called the B main for him, and she announced. And Billy comes over, hey, I'm out here on the racetrack. And she's like, well, you better move. We're going green next time by. So I kind of sped the show up a little bit on accident. But in all seriousness, no, like I said, the American Sprint Car Tour was there. We had 18 cars. We pill drawed. We didn't qualify. So the heat races, We had some fast cars starting in the back, and it was a slaughter fest in the heat races.
They probably made for some interesting heat races there.
Yeah, the Derek Kane out of Wisconsin started 7th in the second heat race and won it. And so it started on the outside pole of the feature. And, it was the final points race for the American Sprint Car Tour. And all Landon Butler had to do, 17-year-old, was take the green flag, and he was going to be the champion. And he actually started on the pole. He won Heat 1, but it was never a challenge in the feature. Oh, yeah. Derek Kane out of Wisconsin, he was so fast. He was checked out. We had 2 cautions, and it gave Aiden Salisbury, Landon Butler, and Alan Horford a shot, but it was kind of false hope. Kane was checked out, but Salisbury did start 7th in the feature, ran 2nd, passed everybody on the top side, so that was exciting. And John with the American Sprint Car Tour, he thanked me, and I missed one of their races this year because of other obligations.
Right.
But next year they're going to try to get a bigger schedule. I think this year they had 7 races. One of them got rained out. But next year I think they're going to shoot for 14 or 15 races. I told him that I would make it when I could. I got a lot of things in the works. The Cumberland Plateau Open Modified Series is going to have a pretty extensive, heavy schedule next year, and I don't know. There might be a few late model gigs coming my way. Not nothing I can talk about just yet. Got to wait for a few things to fall into place. So,
yeah.
And I told him, we'll see if I can be there next year. I will. But I love sprint car racing.
Yeah.
My love for racing in Indiana. Anytime I can make it, we can. But one thing I want to talk about though, the Mystery 100, the Mod Mystery 100 at Shady Hill. This is a neat format. They qualify all the mods. They lock in the top 10. Then they run 3 heat races and then a B main to fill out the field. And it's a 100-lap A main. They take a break at lap 50 where you can change tires and put fuel in. But the winner don't know what the race pays until the race is over.
Oh, really?
So they have 4 envelopes, and you draw the envelope, and that's what the race pays.
Huh. That's different.
Oh, it's very different. But to the race first before we get to the mystery payout. Cole Fallaway out of Owensboro, Kentucky. He's one of the hot shoes in modified racing in the country.
Oh, yeah.
He started on the outside pole. Nick Allen was quick time. So Nick Allen started on the pole. Fallaway took the lead on lap 1. Allen fell back to 3rd or 4th. Kurt Spalding was there. They were racing all over the racetrack on the first 50 laps. They had 1 caution in 50 laps. And Bryce Scheidler got by Fallaway about halfway through the first segment, and then it was a hell of a race. They back and forth, Kurt. It was one of those video game races. Yeah. Then the halfway break happened, and Fallaway was leading. One thing cool they do at this racetrack too, they do true double file restarts.
Yeah,
so
that's
leader picks where he wants to start, and they put the other cat right next to you, like how we did when we were growing up.
Yep, that's what used to happen with us. Only if you was leading, you had to start on the
You had to start on the bottom. Yeah, Kurt was pissed about that all the time because he liked running the top. But I was never up there with him to pick where I got to choose. I just fell in line. But the last 50, Fallaway's car got real tight. Scheidler, he took off and had a straightaway on Fallaway. And Fallaway ran him down and in traffic, and a caution came out. And then, Scheidler chose the inside. Fallaway chose the outside. There's about 17 laps to go, and the track started taking rubber. And, everybody in the fans sitting around us, because I went down and sat with my wife and watched this event, and everybody around us was saying, well, the race is over. It's rubbered up, blah, blah, blah. You know how it is. Everybody hates their racetrack.
Yeah.
If you go somewhere every week, you're pissed off about them about something.
Right.
And to me, I was thinking, they just ran a sprint car A main. We're 80 laps into a modified A main, and with 24 cars starting. The racetrack held up pretty damn good. We had 5 lead chases at this point,
and it's still like summertime right now.
Yeah, but it wasn't early, so there was some dew setting in.
Yeah,
Fallaway had to start on the outside, and he raced him down in the turn, and Cole Fallaway pulled off a move that it's a pavement move.
Yeah,
it's not really a dirt guy. Dirt guys usually don't do this, but Fallaway, he entered up real high by the wall, and kind of like you would at Salem.
Right.
And turned across his nose and said, either you're going to spin me out and go the tail, or you're going to lift and let me win. And it was a hell of a move by Fallaway. It wasn't dirty by any means. It was a great move.
Yeah.
And what I like about Bryce was he may have grew up racing on those little short tracks. Yeah. He didn't spin him out, but he didn't give him no room either. He bounced off of him, and they drag raced down the backstretch. But Cole Fallaway picked up the win. I think it was his 14th feature win of the year. Last weekend, he won a $10,000 win race in Pennsylvania, and he was the defending race winner of the Mod Mystery 100. First 2-time winner. So he gets down there, and I kind of like this. And they didn't tell nobody beforehand. The race always paid either $5,000, $7,000, $8,000, $12,000, or $20,000.
Yeah.
But it paid $200 to start. Well, they start off and told him the bad news first. There's not a $20,000 pill in there.
Oh yeah.
And Followaway was like, okay. So they had 4 envelopes. But then they told him the good news, which really wasn't good news to him because he won. But it's good news for everybody else. And it paid $500 to start.
Yeah.
So they took the money and put it through the field. So they had 4 envelopes. They had $7,000, $7,500. No, I'm sorry. $7,500, $8,000, $8,500, and $14,000.
Yeah.
That was in the envelopes. And the lady holds the envelopes in front of you. Followaway reached over and asked his dad, what envelope you want me to pick? You know, they were all smiles and cutting up, but he picked the $7,500. He picked the lowest envelope.
Oh, man.
He picked the lowest envelope you could pick.
Yeah.
And, they asked him about it, and Cole Followaway, being a stand-up guy he is, he said, I travel all over the country and race for $1,000 to win.
Right.
$7,500 to win is a great payout.
He made $75 a lap.
So it's not too bad. He said, can I see the other envelopes? And they opened them up. And, of course, the first one she opened up was $14,000. He's like, damn.
Yeah.
It's a pretty neat deal. So, the minimum previous years was minimum of $5,000,
Right.
could pay up to $20,000. This year, they did away with the $5,000 and made it $7,500 the minimum and
Right.
paid $500 to start. So hopefully this event grows.
Yeah. That's a good paying mod race.
That's
so.
a really good paying mod race.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a good time. And I told them at Shady Hill I would definitely be back. My wife and I, we stayed the night up there because first off, they're on Central Time.
Oh yeah. I was on Central Time my weekend.
And they're on slow time. They're on racetrack slow time.
Oh yeah.
So that means they did not get in no damn hurry. So races were done about 1:30 Central Time.
Yeah.
Which is 2:00 our time. So we stayed up there. Come home today, this morning. Ate at our 3rd whistle stop ever. You and I, we've ate at whistle stops in Iowa.
Yep.
Whistle stop, the famous whistle stop,
Yep.
just south of Eldora.
Yeah.
Both of those whistle stops were, I probably say, had better food, but they were not as cool as this. This whistle stop in, I can't pronounce the name, Monon, M-O-N-O-N, Monon, Indiana. It had a damn train museum.
Oh yeah.
Train cars, overhead trains in the building, railroad crossings everywhere. This was cool as hell. So if you're into trains and you're, 60 miles south of Chicago,
Yeah.
around Lafayette, check out the whistle stop there. It was cool as hell. It was really neat. I said, hey, good food. Wasn't as good as the whistle stop in Eldora. The whistle stop in
Yeah.
Eldora's got really good food.
The one in
The one in Iowa was not shabby
Boone,
either.
Iowa was pretty good.
Yeah. But had a good time. Had a really good trip. And damn, this podcast is gonna be a little bit longer because it looks like we're about 40 minutes into this already.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna get through all of our show notes. But we're like I said, we're new to this and
Yeah. We're trying out some new equipment tonight.
we're trying out. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I was gonna say, if we sound better, let us know. If we sound worse, let us know because we got new equipment and I don't know if I have it adjusted right.
Right. So
I got a bunch of red lights in front of us. If you seen the picture last week, we had a tablet, 2 cell phones, a laptop.
Yeah.
We still have that with 2 headphones, 2 microphones, and an audio recorder in
Yeah.
between us. So we got shit sitting everywhere.
Oh yeah.
So we got a hell of a studio here on the kitchen
We
table
got plenty
tonight.
to do. Yeah.
Yeah, we got. But we're going to talk about a few races that happened over the weekend. Circle City. Check us out, Flash. Friday night, 124 cars at Circle City. 42 non-wing sprint cars, Midwest Thunder and Boss Sprint cars.
Man.
And if you listened to our show last week, we talked about Ricky Lewis driving the wheels off the car. And Ricky Lewis started 7th and drove the damn wheels off the race car. I talked to somebody at the track that said about 5 laps to go, he used the wall, not the cushion, the wall entering turn 3 to pass a lap car on a slider. But shout out to Ricky Lewis winning the sprint car race.
Figuring out who's fast.
Yeah, well, if you think about that, you can bet on USAC, right? And I tell these people all the time who's going to win the races, and I never bet.
Yeah.
And they win. So Royce Harmon, shout out to Royce, had a new baby
Yeah. Had
girl.
new baby.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Peanut, Roy Boy, whatever you guys call him, had a new baby. I call him Peanut because that's what we called him as a
Yeah.
kid. Won another track championship at the Sports Room this year.
Yeah.
But Royce told me, if you know who's going to win, why don't you pick him? So I said, all right, Royce, I bet one weekend, I bet 2 midget races and a sprint car race. Lost every damn one of them.
Yeah.
So if I tell you who to bet on, bet you'll win. If I tell you I'm betting on them, take that weekend off.
Yeah.
There's a good chance you're going to lose your damn money.
Yeah.
But one thing I was going to tell you about Circle City, Dustin Nobby, He won the Crate Late Model feature, but he won over Tyler Neal and Steve Peden. So
Yeah,
big props to Dustin Nobby.
Yeah, those are two of the toughest there is in Indiana, and crates especially.
Yeah, Flash knows that. If you outrun Tyler Neal and Steve Peden, and they don't have any problems, which they didn't, he just flat out outrun them. So Dustin Nobby, the young man, I think it's his third or fourth year in a Crate Late Model.
I think so,
He ran mods for a few
Yeah.
years. Just getting his feet wet, but I picked up a big win there at Circle City. And then Circle City Saturday night, the King Kenny Outlaw Tribute Race, the second annual. For you guys that are just the dirt world and don't pay attention, we grew up figure eight racing, and they had the outlaw figure eights were at Circle City, and Ben Tunney picked up the win, but Buddy Virtues ran second.
Oh, did he? That's good.
And Buddy Virtues decided Saturday morning that they were going racing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they called the clutch shop looking for tires.
That sounds like Buddy.
Yeah, so they decided Saturday morning. And so, great job to Murray and the guys at B&R and Buddy Virtues. But Jesse Tunney had problems and ended up third. He had problems in qualifying. And Jesse Tunney passed 15 cars to finish third.
Yeah.
But the story of the weekend was not a big hit in the intersection this time, because last year they had a big wreck.
Yeah.
But Matt Smith did get upside down.
Really?
Yeah, he clipped a U-tire and got over on his lids.
Didn't they do that last year?
Yeah,
too?
Doug Gregg
I
flipped
thought
last
it was.
year.
Doug Gregg did, yeah.
So, to you Outlaw figure eight
Those
guys.
tractor tires will get
yeah,
you.
Yeah, to the Outlaw figure eight guys out there. These aren't the tires at the speedrome. The old tires.
Yeah.
If you hit the new tires at the speedrome, you need a clip. Just ask Corey Harmon. Kind of got made to driving a U-tire one night from the video I seen, allegedly. But to the guys in the Outlaw figure eight cars, the little tires at the speedrome that you raced them for years that you can bounce over, if you hit one at the dirt track, you will end up on your ass.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so you guys know going forward, for the third annual King Kenny Outlaw race, stay the hell away from the U-tires.
Yeah. Guys ain't used to that. We was used to racing around them.
Yeah, you get a U-tire at the drone.
Yeah.
You got your bell wrong.
Did Louisville have tires? I don't think they did they?
They didn't when they first started, because they didn't need tires. They had speed bumps the size
Right.
of fucking...
Yeah, you couldn't get
I'm
them.
sorry. My wife told me not to drop the F-bomb. I might edit that out. They had speed bumps the size of road graders. But yeah, one thing I want to say, congratulations to all they had 24 Outlaw figure eight cars show up.
Yeah, that was good.
Guys, I know you guys catch a lot of flack about, the way you guys like starting races and only running one or two tracks. I'm just going to say, as a race fan, I'm proud of you guys getting out and running more racetracks. And I'm glad more tracks are having you. So hopefully the dirt thing can happen a lot more.
Yeah.
Because
shout out to those guys at Circle City for doing that too, because it probably takes a little to get that track.
Well, yeah,
to where you can run figure eight on it.
And they raced Friday night with
that's what I'm saying.
124 race cars. So
right, yeah,
yeah, it wasn't shout out to Circle City Raceway for really flipping the track around, because we know what it's like doing track prep.
Oh yeah,
and we suck at it, but they did a good job. And speaking of which, something else I was going to talk about: the Hopsod Hustler at Tri-State happened. $8,000 to win for the Midwest Thunder Sprints. It was the final event of the year at Tri-State. They had 33 non-wing sprint cars, and they had 35 305 race saver sprint cars. So
yeah,
good turnout at Tri-State Speedway. I didn't get to see this, and usually I call around. If we talk about a race, it's because we've seen it, or we talk to somebody that we really, really trust. I didn't get to see nobody. My buddy Robert, I just knew for a fact that he went to Tri-State. He's out of Illinois, and he never misses Tri-State. So I called Robert and said, give me the rundown of Tri-State. And I know you know Robert Flash, but people out here don't know him. He's like, I seen it on Race Pass. He don't call it my Race Pass. So he seen it on Race Pass. I said, well, damn, okay. But he went to the micro sprint track there for the $5,000 win micro sprint race. So he didn't make it to Tri-State. But I seen where the madman Robert Valou picked up a win at Tri-State. And like I said, usually we don't talk about it if we're not there or don't have a reliable source. But my reliable source is Kyle Cummings. Kyle Cummings started third, and Robert Valou started sixth. And Robert Valou beat him. And you don't beat Kyle Cummings at Tri-State when he starts up front.
He pretty much owns that place.
So I know all I needed to know about the race that happened at Tri-State. The madman Robert Valou was kicking ass and taking names. But next year, they did announce that the Hopside Hustler is going to pay $10,000 to win next year. So they're bumping the pay up. So hopefully, all the non-wing sprint cars will make their way to Tri-State next year for the Hopside Hustler.
Yeah.
There was a couple events that went on in Kentucky this weekend too. We'll go over it quick. I talked to my buddy Snowman. He's the announcer at Rockcastle. And actually, Snowman went to Mud Lake Valley on Friday also and gave me a race report. So shout out to Snowman. He keeps us in the loop, what's going on. And Snowman said at Rockcastle they ended up with, it was the King of the Rock. They ended up with 19 crate cars, and Zane Powell won it. And Rockcastle has been known to be a bottle dominant racetrack in the last 3 or 4 years. Right. And Dwayne and them there are doing an excellent job with Rockcastle. And Flash, I'm telling you, you need to go check out Rockcastle. They race on the fence now. It's the closest thing we got to Fairbury in the state of Kentucky.
I've drove past it, but I've never been there yet, so I need to go.
Yeah, you need to go check out Rockcastle. It's got a metal guardrail all the way around it.
Yeah.
Sparks are flying.
I watched Ben's in-car the other night, Ben Harmon's in-car camera, and it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, no, right, yeah. Rockcastle gets after it. Yeah, Zane Powell won over Jeff Watson. Big shout out to Jeff Watson. He did something different this year. There for a while, Watson, he's the local hot shoe in crate late model racing in Kentucky. Yeah. If there's a big paying crate race and you're going to win, you're going to have to outrun Jay Watt. And this year, Jeff Watson decided he was going to run for a track championship. He hasn't done that in 3 or 4 years, and he won the track championship, takes home the championship. And, for everybody that races the crate cars in Kentucky, they're probably glad he hasn't done that in a long time. Yeah. And I was giving him crap a few weeks ago, but I think he got his 150th crate late model A main win. So that's saying, well, not crate late model. Yeah, there was some super late models in there too.
Yeah.
But he got his 150th A main win this year too. So big shout out to Campbellsville, Kentucky's Jeff Watson for bringing home another track championship.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So shout out to Jeff Watson. Mud Lake Valley Saturday night at Valvoline Ironman Late Model Series. Chris Tilley and them put it on. I believe there was 33 or 35 super late models. But Verona, Kentucky's Josh Rice picked up the $10,000 win race there. Big props to Josh Rice.
Yeah.
As he hasn't been racing a whole lot this year. They built a new house. Him and his wife. He got married, built a new house.
Right.
So he's doing the family thing, making a big run for next year. So I think Josh Rice is going to run. I'm not going to say it yet. Josh Rice may be on a tour next year. Let's say that.
That'd be good to see him on a tour.
Yeah. I'm not going to say what I heard because I'm not really good at telling rumors. I'm not that type of person. If you tell me directly, I'll say it. But if it comes from somebody else, I'm not going to say it. But there may be some breaking news here in the off season that Josh Rice may go full time next year on a tour.
Yeah.
And if he does, watch out, guys, because if the racetrack has a top side, he's going to be there.
You're in trouble. Yeah.
Yeah. But we're going to talk about a couple of national events. Like I said, we're going to breeze over. I watched the Lucas Oil events, and you watched Lucas Oil events.
Yeah.
But there's not really much to say about the Lucas Oil events this weekend. At Pittsburgh, Devin Moran won the first night from the pole. Yeah. And Jonathan Davenport ran second, and RTJ ran third. Mason Ziegler, though, he did pass some cars.
Yeah.
Mason Ziegler passed 15 cars in the Rush Crate Late Model A main to get the win. So when everybody else was riding around the bottom, Mason Ziegler went to the top side and drove a hell of a race. So shout out to Mason Ziegler. And night number 2, it was all Jonathan Davenport.
Oh yeah, he was untouchable pretty much.
Well, he brought out the Eldora car.
Yeah.
It's the million car.
Yeah.
He says, it's a half mile. You're paying $50,000 to win.
Yeah.
Boys, you guys are racing for second tonight. and he did not.
What if they brought it on the open trailer?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But I know, I'm not going to say I would wreck him.
Yeah.
But the guys on the Lucas Oil Tour, whisper. If he brings out the Eldora car, you may want to bounce him off the wall and get that thing tweaked a little bit. Yeah. Because if he brings that car out, it's game on.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think he was 4 seconds. They had a caution with 15 to go, and he was already 4 seconds ahead again at the end.
Yeah,
he was.
As our buddy, the late great Scott Blumquist would have said, if he didn't have a caution, he would have lapped the damn field.
Yeah.
But big props to Devin Moran.
Yeah.
Devin Moran did make some moves. Devin Moran passed 10 cars, ended up running second. And Max Blair running out the top 3 podium. The big news coming out of there is we have a new Lucas Oil point leader. Devin Moran, the points lead heading into Brownstown this week. It's the chase format. I know last year caught a lot of flack Ricky Thornton Jr. would have won back in the summer.
Yeah. and Eldora was a little different track last year. We was actually there.
Yeah, for the dirt track. Yeah, it was hammered down. So they're doing the chase this year. They originally were going to have 8 races, I think. And then it got down to 7.
Yeah.
And then 6. So I think there's 6 more races left. You got 2 at Brownstown this week. And then It is the Dirt Track World Championship. Is
No,
that it?
no, I think it's just this.
Okay, so we got
Brownstown,
we got 4 more. So we got down to 6 because the first 2 races were this past weekend. But I still don't like. I'm old school about dirt late model racing. I'm not crazy about the chase.
No, I ain't either.
I know why they're doing it. But I tell you somebody who isn't crazy about it. That's Ricky Thornton Jr.
Yeah.
He didn't win the championship because of last year, and now he's sitting 3rd in points after this weekend. So
he looked pretty good at the Pittsburgh, though.
yeah, he did. He did look pretty good, but he didn't look as good as Devin Moran and Jonathan Davenport.
Devin Moran, though, on the bottom, he was like glued to the guardrail on the bottom and fast every time. I mean, he was just. I only watched the highlights. I didn't get to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
But they showed a lot of it, and he was just.
Yeah, no.
He would roll in there 3 car lengths deeper on the bottom and stick. It was crazy.
Yeah, Moran looked like Freddie Query in the ASA late model days back in the day.
Yeah,
he was in another level.
Yeah.
He wasn't on Superman's level, but he was Clark Kent for sure.
Oh yeah.
he may not have been Superman, but he was Clark Kent. But we'll see how the points end out.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be exciting at Brownstown this weekend. World of Outlaws are off this weekend. They don't run again until until November, to the World Finals.
Yeah.
So we should have a big field of cars. I know Bobby Pierce said he was going to be there. So we should have a big field of cars this weekend. Like I said, the 2 more races we're going to talk about real quick. The National Open at Williams Grove. World of Outlaw Sprint Cars, 56 cars on hand, $78,000 to win.
Yeah.
At one of the most prestigious dirt tracks in the country. And Friday night's preliminary, right? I don't know if you've seen this, Flash, but it was time for they do split field Friday nights for preliminaries. It was time for the features. Scratch that. They still had 2 B mains left, and then the features got pushed to Saturday morning because I've been to Williams Grove before, and it's in between 2 valleys.
Yeah.
And the fog decided it was going to come in. It was going to come in for the night.
Mother Nature won that one.
Yeah,
huh?
Mother Nature said, "Boys, you're going to do it tomorrow." But one cool thing was though, I was watching Friday night while I was working out in the shop. I was working in the shop Friday night, and I had the sprint cars on from the National Open, and I had Fairbury on, but. They had vapor trails. They looked like they was 2 miles long. I mean, big vapor trails because of the moisture in the air.
Well, one of the only tracks I've ever been to where it got fogged out was Volusia. Yeah. But they were running on the asphalt track. That's when they still had the asphalt track there, and they were running the super modifieds, and they had vapor trails off all them about 30 feet long behind them. It was awesome to see.
And those super modifieds are badass because they got the wings flex up and down and move back.
Hit the brakes to kick up. They're pretty awesome.
So, but Carson Macedo they ran preliminary Saturday, and then went ahead and ran the National Open last night. And it was a damn good feature. Carson Macedo and Sheldon Hodenschild was going back and forth. Macedo messed up in traffic a few times and said in the interview he didn't really know where to go. So when in doubt, throw your balls out. So he went to the cushion, and Carson Macedo won. Like I said, Hodenschild had a shot at it with 2 laps to go. Just couldn't quite do anything with him as they caught traffic. But the problem was, Hodenschild likes running the top 2. So if Hodenschild was going to pass him,
somebody was in his line.
Yeah, he was going to have to roll the bottom. And Carson Macedo, he's a kid from California, and there's not too many California kids that ride around the tractor tires. So he put it up top. And like I said, the last thing I want to talk about was Fairbury. The Mars Series. It was the end of the season for Fairbury American Legion Speedway. It's America's dirt track for a reason. Damn good barn burner of a show. Friday night, it was Brian Shirley picking up the win over Brandon Shepard and Jason Fager, and an absolute dogfight. Shepard started like 6th, and Fager started 8th, and they were throwing slide jobs left and right. Shepard was running the cushion, banging the boards. Shirley was kind of rolling the middle. I was shocked. Shirley was kind of keeping it clean and green on Friday night. Shepard got a good run at him. Probably could have threw a slider going in turn 3. Didn't. Didn't want to use him up.
Right.
He was saving it for the $12,000 win night.
You got to run again the next night, so.
Yeah. Put it this way, if you're running Fairbury, you're going to do body work on the right side regardless. He didn't want to change suspension parts either. So, but no, Shepard's a clean racer. So Shirley got the win over Shepard. But the race of the night wasn't even that. It was the Mars Modified Series. Mike McKinney and Michael Long went after it. But Landon Whitfield, the local kid, I think he lives like 2 streets over from Fairbury.
Yeah.
He led 17 of the 25 laps. And McKinney and Long were slicing and dicing. McKinney gets around him on the top. And then Long goes to the top. And when Long went to the top, he kind of thought, well, this is over. Because Michael Long, the UMP national points leader, and I think he's got the UMP national points, sealed up. But Long went to the top. But McKinney, he did what I call the flash line at the Sportsdrome. He ran the top, but he didn't really run the top. He wouldn't let you roll in on the top, but he also wouldn't let you get underneath him.
Yeah.
You know, Mike McKinney did pulled off feature win, and it was Mike McKinney's 19th feature win of the year for the $2,000 payday. And then Saturday night, Brian Charley, $12,000 on the line. And the squirrel brought the broom out and got to sweep for the weekend. And Brian Charley, he won. Tanner English started 8th and ran 2nd. Went around Dennis Erb. There about 3 laps to go. Tanner English was a man on the move, but this time it was all Brian Charley, and he must have watched Mike McKinney the night before and decided they're paying $12,000 to win. And I'm putting this damn thing up on the top.
Yeah, he had some sparks flying off the right side. That was.
Yeah, Charlie, he was banging the boards. And what I like about it, you know, I'm watching the race Friday and Saturday. Watching the race Saturday night, watching the replay because I was at Shady Hill, and it was it kind of reminded me of like a 1998 Summer Nationals race.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
It was all the guys that's out on the national tour because the World Outlaws were off. They were there racing at Fairbury, throwing haymakers and slide jobs. So Brian Shirley got to sweep, and in the mod feature, the Mars modified race, $3,000 to win. This race here, there was no doubt on this one. Michael Long said, "You got me last night. You're not getting me tonight, Michael McKinney." They switched positions. You know, it was all Michael Long on the cushion. Fun fact about Michael Long, it was feature win number 28 on the year. Yeah, I think he's ran 57 races and won 28. So he's right at 50% win percentage. And seen where Michael Long racing in Illinois, which is the toughest UMP modified, region in the country. 57, 58 races. He's only finished outside the top 10 twice.
Man.
All year.
That's crazy.
And fun fact about this, he's in one of the very few Pierce Platinum chassis.
Yeah.
Everybody's in, Longhorns, Elites. He's doing it his way. And, shout out to Bob Pierce for building a hell of a race car because Bobby Pierce, up until this year, he was in a Pierce Platinum late model chassis.
Right.
This year they kind of got some factory help and went a different way. But, Bob Pierce race cars were the race cars of the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
And, in the modified world. And Michael Long, I'm sure he's selling Bob Pierce some race cars if Pierce wants to build them.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Michael Long picked up feature win number 28 on the year, which is crazy in itself. And like I said, we had a few more things we want to talk about, but, we're just over an hour, and we're going to try to keep this where we're not, not bullshitting all night long.
We don't want to bore everybody to death.
Yeah. But, guys, for everybody that did listen, thank you. Please,
please
like the page.
Like it, share it with somebody.
Share it.
Tell somebody about it. And,
tag us in it. If you think we suck, tell us we suck.
Tell us anything we need to do better.
Yeah.
And we are going to eventually, pretty soon here, try to get some interviews going.
Yes.
So we can, you don't have to listen to us the whole time.
That's what I was going to tell everybody. I actually had an interview lined up this week, but I didn't know how the new equipment was going to work out.
Right.
And I was on the road. So we're going to have an interview next week. I'm not going to say who because the guy I had this week, I don't know if he's available next week, so I don't want no false advertisement.
Right.
But we will have an interview next week. But, we was in the J main last week. I think we raced our way up to the D main, but damn, Frank Flood got us at the line. Volleyball reference, so we're going to come back and try again. But, this week I'm going to go to Brownstown for sure Friday night, and then Saturday.
Yeah, I'll probably go Friday night for sure.
Yeah. So me and Flash, if you see us at Brownstown, come say hi. It won't be hard to miss us. We'll be sitting down in the bleachers, eating something.
Yeah.
Sitting down in turn 4, definitely eating. All right, we are back. Little technical difficulties there in the closing. Like I said, we don't really know how to work the new equipment just yet.
Yeah.
But we're gonna try to get better at this. We're gonna have an interview next week. But hang in there with us. Tell everybody about us. Like, share, all that good stuff on Facebook. Any final words, Flash?
I don't think so. Just we're running out of time to get any races in this winter or this fall, so need to hit the racetrack if you can. Try to support your local racetrack.
Yeah.
Wherever it is. Asphalt, dirt, we don't care.
Yeah. It don't make no difference to us. If they're racing, we're going to be there. Yeah. So, support your local racetrack. Until next time, we will be trading sliders.